So I just logged on to like LinkedIn right now. So we'll start right now. So since LinkedIn doesn't have like a direct live, you have to stream it through another app. So
That's right.
that's yeah.
Ready when you are.
Okay, done. I'll just do a little bit of an intro. So, hi everyone, welcome to the Finance Story Career Insight series, where we bring you industry experts to share market trends, insights, and their learnings. So, today we have with us Prashant Mehra, partner and COO at Grant Thornton Bharat, to help us get a perspective on GT's hiring and talent acquisition strategies, the impact of tech on future hirings, the role of AI in consulting firms, and of course, the overall opportunities GT is observing in India in 2024. So, Prashant, thanks a ton for making the time. Means a lot. Thank you.
Hi, Chantal. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So Prashant, you've got a very interesting journey. You started at GT in 2001, 2002. From what I recollect, you would be, freshly CA fresher almost. So can you take us back through, the early days of GT when you started out, and how has it shaped up, in the last, 2 decades? So what has been the journey so far?
Thank you, Chantal. I mean, yes, I think it's been about more than 20 years since I've been with the firm. Joined them in 2002, was freshly qualified. I actually helped in the early days set up advisory for the firm. I remember we had about 50 odd people. I was probably the first one outside of audit and tax. And yes, everything outside of audit and tax was known as advisory. I think we really had nothing with us except our head on our shoulders and our feet on the ground, and of course the passion to do something different. Two, three things that we kept in mind, and maybe that's the reason that from 50 we are 10,000 people today. And from a freshly qualified chartered accountant, I have the role and responsibility for taking care of those 10,000 people as the chief operating officer at the firm. But it was really a mix of two things. One, keeping in mind that people is what really matters. And yes, the pandemic didn't have to teach us that. We learned that very early in the firm. Second is that we truly believed in the India opportunity, and that's the reason that before the country adopted the name Bharat, we adopted the name Bharat, which was sometime in the middle of the pandemic, perhaps. So we really believed in the India opportunity, and I think thirdly, we really believed in the mid-market opportunity. Whatever there was a gap, which was the mid-market firm of the future. You obviously had everybody else, and then you had the international large firms. Uh, no one was really servicing the mid-market sector. That is where we found our niche. That's what we started focusing on. Yes, we are today doing exactly what we did 20 years back, but yet learning from our mistakes and making sure that we do even more and more, and thus shape vibrant Bharat, which is what our vision and mission also is.
Amazing. To everyone who's joined in, thank you so much for joining in. Please type in your questions. Prashant will take it right away. So Prashant, I'm surprised. Like, did you say 50 when you joined it in 2002? Was it 50? And wow, that's
Yes,
an
yes.
amazing journey. That's been a fantastic journey. So it's an obvious question. Did you foresee like 20 years down the line, GT would be this size, with a reputation that it holds today? Of being a truly Indian firm.
So, yes and no. And why I'll answer that both ways is that because, no, because we never really had a number in mind. Did we have a number in mind that we want to grow from 50 people to 100 or 500 or 5,000? The answer is really no. We just wanted to make sure we're doing the right thing and making the right impact, and numbers is just an outcome. For that, whether you need 5,000 or 50,000, we never knew. So no to that. But yes, definitely, we wanted to make sure that we come across as the alternative in the market, the disruptor in the market, who are known for quality in what they do, and also in terms of being the most valued professional services firm. I'm not saying that we've already achieved that. It's a journey, but we are moving towards that, and we want to. And when I say the most valued firm, it could be. I again don't want to go around numbers there, because a number is a number and it can keep changing. Doesn't mean that people who have 500 people are not the right firm, or people who have 500,000 people are the right firm. So let's not weigh it in numbers. It just make sure that whatever we do, we are working towards our strategy. We are making an impact in the market. We are helping shape a more vibrant country. As long as this is definitely something that we saw coming, and we were working towards that.
Amazing. So, Prashant, if I just dig in a little deeper, okay, can you just tell us from 2002? I know it will be a lot of pointers, but from 2002 to date, what were the spikes in the journey? When did you know your in any key moments or key time frames which saw the rise in growth, and what were they? And strategies that you all actually followed. A few things which could help others growing their firm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so, Shachar, I think one thing we were very clear of since the beginning, and that is the reason that I also came into the firm, that we knew what is the formula for success. The formula for success is not really asking one person to do more, but to make sure that we grow with our people and we grow with our clients. So the way to grow the firm was just to continue to add capabilities, keep looking at the market. What does the market need? What do our client needs? Make sure that we keep our clients happy. Make sure that whatever capabilities are required, whatever solutions and offerings are required, we have those capabilities. We keep building those capabilities. And so it'll be unfair to say that, for me, the big milestone was when we opened up offices in Mumbai, or when we reached 5,000 people. It would be unfair to say that. I think every time that we added a client to the firm, which had to say good things about us, every time a client recommended us to another client, was a big moment for us. Every time that new capability came into the firm,
Yeah.
every time one person at the firm referred us to another person to join us, every moment was a high moment. Those were all milestones actually as such. But if I were to just call out one thing, it would be something that happened a few years back when we upped our quest for adding more and more talent at the firm. Is that we wanted to understand what is that one differentiator which we have. It should not be the money, it should not be that we have fancy offices or anything else, but what is that one thing? And people kept saying that culture is perhaps what differentiates you from others, and we honestly believe that. We work towards that. So when that is being validated externally, I think that's a real high for us. Because we very clear that as long as we retain our culture and we keep building our culture, we should get what we need. We started a journey of some years back saying that we're a good firm, but we want to be a great firm as far as culture is concerned. Thankfully, we've achieved that, and now we call it great to exceptional. So we're a great firm, but we want to be an exceptional firm. And everything that we do that gets validated will be that high for us, or that milestone for us. So I know it's a bit round and round, but I hope I've answered your question. It is that cultural high for us that happens every time we add somebody, whether it's a client or a capability person at the firm.
Okay, so basically, to sum it up, you guys saw the opportunity in the mid market. Okay, you all knew you all could act like disruptors, and you all were all looking at that market. And culture is, and adding talent meant building a correct culture for the talent, right? So that's helped in the growth and the scale of
Yeah.
GT. That's what you say.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not saying that, I mean, the niche for us, the focus is the mid market, but that doesn't mean that we don't do other things. I believe
Yeah.
one of our largest clients at the firm is actually the government of the country. We have a large public sector consulting practice, where we advise the government and work with the government on various rules and initiatives. We also have a focus on the large corporates, and also a focus on what we call digital natives or startups, whatever you want to call it. So there is a focus on every segment. But yes, what we're probably known for, what we'd like to build, is really the mid-market opportunity in the country. I mean, today's startup will be tomorrow's mid-market, and tomorrow's mid-market will probably be day after's large corporate.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so Prashant, I have this question for you. Okay, so when you talk about, you said, in 2002, 2003, there was audit, assurance, and then there was everything, and there was advisory, which was nothing but everything else, right? So can you take us through the growth of your service lines, and how did you all add and build on service lines, like through these 2 decades? A little bit, a little highlights of it.
Absolutely. I think when I started my career with the firm, they were outside of typical assurance and tax. There were two things that we started with. One was around risk optimization, and the other was around helping donor-funded agencies. The World Bank, USAID, started doing a lot of work for them, which was basically on the monies that we're investing in the country to make sure that the money has been spent economically and effectively. Because most of these were around achieving the socio-economic objective. So we started with that, and gradually, we started building the advisory practice, adding transaction capability, whether it was due diligence or valuation or investment banking. Slowly and gradually, when the regulations also came in, we started stress asset advisory, where we started our insolvency practice, helping the banks, the other stakeholders, as well as the companies. Risk optimization was again a journey. It was typically what erstwhile is known as internal audit, moving that
Yep.
to enterprise-wide application, cyber forensic investigations. Then the entire gamut of the consulting side of things, which is transformation consulting, starting with something as basic as business plan advisory, but then gradually helping corporates with their technology, helping them with big data, helping them with cloud, helping them with enterprise applications. It's You need to constantly reinvent yourself.
Yep.
I cannot say that anything that was true 20 years back is true today as well in terms of a solution you're offering in the market. You need to continuously reinvent yourself. And I think anything that is getting commoditized is only because of professional services firm. You can't blame the market for that. If you keep doing
Yep.
the same thing over and over again, it will become commoditized. You need to make sure that there is value add that is coming on to the client. You need to Assurance is not what it used to be. Assurance has to be a mix of forensic skills, cyber skills, risk optimization skills, tax skills, technology skills, understanding of the business or industry that you work in. It's a culmination of all those things. That's what makes it a solution. So that's really been the key. We've been very particular about not making sure that we're part of the rat race. We also need to do that, but making sure that bundling of skills brings about an solution in the market. That solution catering to a specific sector or industry becomes the offering.
Amazing. So when you mentioned about culture, right? How do you define culture and how do you create that culture within the firm? So when I think of GT in the most honest way, because I interact with a lot of people, right? It's a very smart, it's actually a disruptor. It's always first and it's very elegant, right? That's how I can define it. So how do you create that culture and that brand perception per se? Would you want to add on that?
Yeah. So, at the firm, without getting into too much of detail, and I can
Yeah.
go on and on about this,
Yeah.
but there are typically, 18 culture traits that we try and follow at the firm. I think in whatever we do, as I mentioned earlier, we need to make sure that we're keeping an employee at the center or the person at the center. Now, simple things that we keep hearing about, corporate gossip and one
Yep.
person against the other.
Yep.
That's not true. We're not competing against each other. We're competing against the market. So
Yep.
whenever someone says something, the first thing that we tell them is, let's assume positive intent. Why would somebody not be talking in the interest of the firm? There are filters that all of us have, and those filters are really perspectives. But the idea is not to question why are you saying that, or why are you saying things which I don't believe in. It's just about a perspective. I keep saying this, that one of the person who was maybe the biggest criminal in the country in a way is now his photograph is on all our banknotes. That's the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. Has It's just a perspective. That time the laws were different, now the laws are different. That's
Yep.
the only reason, but that doesn't make anything right or wrong.
Yep.
The other thing is also about, I mentioned perspectives, I mentioned filters, but the other thing is also about self accountability. Why do you need somebody to govern you, to supervise you? This is
Yep.
something that we learned in the pandemic also. I don't think so anybody was supervising anybody. Yet I can tell you that at least our productivity was at its peak. that really demonstrated that culture of self accountability. This is after the fact that we had declared to all our people that no one in this firm will actually lose their job. We've actually coined it people over profit. So irrespective was of what was happening in the outside world, which was the pandemic, we made sure that nobody is losing their job. Yet people were demonstrating self accountability. I don't think so. That comes from any fear or anything. It really comes from a culture that you want to practice at the firm. So yeah, these are a few examples.
Yeah.
Everything is has to be a conversation. Nothing can be a diktat. Structure at the firm is not a pyramid; it's a constellation. Anybody who's at a CXO level cannot be sitting at the top. They need to sit at the center, if not at the bottom. They are servant leaders. They're not any authoritarians as such. So yeah, some examples of what we try and practice at the firm. Hopefully, it's working.
Yeah, it is working. It is definitely working. And also, when I approached you, right, it is a very simple process. Like it's not like, hey, go to my EA and get. It was very direct, very simple. So that's something that I've experienced myself as well. Okay, so Prashant, if there are people who want to join your firm, right? So how do you decide when selecting talent, right? Like, do you see that do you assume that the person has to have the culture that you're looking at, like the 18 pointers? Like, how is it? What's your process?
I mean, yes, there is a method to the madness, and I won't get into that. But all I can say is that opportunity for everybody in the firm. We do not test for culture. We understand that people come from different backgrounds, carry different baggages. As long as the expectation is clear that you will align yourself to the culture at the firm, I think there is opportunity for everybody. Anybody who comes with a success package that things will be my way may not have a role in the organization, or may find themselves isolated in the organization, and we don't ask anybody to leave. Anybody who's not culturally aligned, they just feel left in a corner and probably leave the firm themselves if they're not willing to align with the culture. So but yes, I don't think so there is any test on culture that we do. We've had people from various backgrounds coming to the firm. They've understood the culture at the firm, aligned themselves, and yes, we make sure that we support them. To give you an example of the support, that anybody who joins the firm within the first couple of months, they need to go through what we call an unfreezing culture workshop, which is a 2 day in-person workshop at one of our offices where some authorized trainers and facilitators at the firm conduct those two workshops. It's got nothing to do with the curriculum or anyone's role responsibility. It is just to make sure that we help you become a better person and a professional. After that, some people may want to leave and some people may want to continue, but we don't ask anybody to sign a bond that if you attend this training, you will stay with us for X number of years, because we're investing 2 full days in you.
Yeah.
I can calculate that we probably have 20 to 25 people in that workshop. Just the time cost that we're spending goes into crores. But we're very happy to make that investment, because one thing we're very clear, it is people who will make everything possible at the firm, nothing else.
That's so well said, and that's amazing. I was going through this interview in 2022, right, December 2022, which the CEO at GT had mentioned, where he said, by the financial year 28, you're looking at hiring 45 to 50K and 25, 20K, and by the end of the decade, like 31, almost 100,000, like 1 lakh. So, what kind of talent, like if you could just dig in a little and share a little more broader view, what kind of talent, like what should be the qualification, what sector, what service line, what experience, if you could share on that aspect?
Sure. Sure. I think in the last 2 years, we've added about 5,000 people at the firm. We've doubled the headcount at the firm. Within those 5,000 people, there are probably 150 odd people who joined us at a partner director level. Um, I don't think so. We've added people from a 150 perspective in terms of increasing the bench, but most of these people have brought in some new capability at the firm. Could be a sector expertise, could be an industry expertise, could be a skill, could be a solution, could be an offering. So we're not trying to what we were doing, just keep doing that. We want to do new things. We want to do different things, and that's really how we've added this capability. Um, uh, I know Vishesh did mention that we'll probably be 100,000 people by the turn of this end of this decade. But I don't think so. We want to hold ourselves to numbers. It could be 50,000 also. It could be 150,000 also. That numbers is only an outcome.
Yeah.
As long as we've achieved, the two, three objectives that I mentioned, that one, we need to work towards shaping vibrant Bharat. Secondly, in what we call a test or assurance, we want to be the gold standard firm. In as far as consulting is concerned, we want to be the most valued, consulting firm in the country. As long as those things are achieved, numbers is just
Yeah.
an outcome, whether it's revenue or people. uh, what are we hiring where we want to hire? I say the large part of our hiring has been really around the consulting side of things. We've pivoted in the last few years. We've moved towards and focused on consulting. As far as consulting is concerned, could be mostly technology consulting, which is about enterprise application, SAP, Oracle, Microsoft BI, cloud, big data. It's also around energy consulting. It is around ESG. Um, it is around metals and mining. It is about finance function transformation. About financial services risk. So a whole lot of things, and it will continue to evolve. Um, yeah, sec- so those are really the things. And as far as it's not just in businesses that we've added capabilities. We've also added capabilities in what is traditionally known as cost or overheads at the firm, which is business support services. Because we believe that the stronger the business support services is, that much the business can actually grow, because you're making sure they have a rock solid foundation and support system to be able to grow as much as they can. So in that, just on the people and culture side of things, we've added non-technical learning and development capabilities. We've added comp and benefit capabilities. We've added technology capabilities to build applications. We've added capabilities around hybrid working. um, we've added capabilities on the marketing side of things, whether it is digital or social media or otherwise. We've added capabilities in terms of helping us build a brand, building trophies in the market. Couple the Grant Thornton tournament is perhaps one such example. So multiple skills and capabilities that we added. So tomorrow, if somebody asks me that, this is what I do, is there an opportunity at the firm? I think as long as we believe in the person, their passion, their skills, their capabilities, if it's not an opportunity, we'll create an opportunity for them. That's how I've grown in the firm. That's how so many other people in the firm have grown.
Yep.
We need to recognize what people's strengths are and just play with those strengths to create opportunities at the firm. And to support all that, we believe in Ultraflex, which is why. So Ultraflex clothing. That's why I'm not wearing a suit. I'm wearing what I'm comfortable
Okay.
with, what the weather
Okay.
demands, this platform demand. Dress appropriately. Ultraflex timings. We don't tell people to work from 9 to 5. As long as the work gets done, they can work as much or as less as they like. Ultraflex leaves. We don't tell people you've got only 20 leaves in a year. They can take as many leaves as they want, making sure that there is a conversation
Yeah.
between them and whoever they're working with,
Yeah.
so that work does
Yeah.
not suffer. So
Yeah.
yeah, those are really a few examples to make sure that people are kept at the center, they're supported with everything that is suits them, to make sure that the
Yep.
best outcome comes out of that.
Amazing. I didn't know about this concept. You can wear what you want, work when you want, leave with it. That's amazing. That's why I see a lot of Gen Zs getting attracted to GT, right? I mean, that's what the new Gen
Yeah.
wants. Yeah.
Like at our firm, you walk into any of our offices, you'll probably be amazed that, traditionally for accounting firms, law firms, you'll see partner cabins and those fancy Victorian architecture. You won't see any of that. None of our people, from the chairman to a trainee in the firm, nobody has a fixed seat. Everybody needs to go on to our proprietary application and book a seat for themselves whenever they want to come into the office. We don't tell people to come to the office. We tell people don't come to the office. Why do you want to spend time on the road? Come to the office when you need the brand experience, when you need to engage with the team, with the clients.
Yeah.
So our all our office facilities are like ultra flex, no cabins whatsoever.
Amazing. Amazing. You spoke about the opportunities in Vibrant Bharat. Like you framed it exactly that way. What are the opportunities in Vibrant Bharat that you see Okay, and it would be great for others to know as well. What is it that you are looking at as this, as a senior leader at CD?
I think the year 2023 has been a great example of if anybody had doubts in their mind that India is here to stay. So while everybody else was talking about survival, we were talking about growth. And I think the macroeconomic factors really play that out very clearly. Whether it is in terms of uh, growth in technology, and I'm calling technology as an enabler here. I
Yeah.
was just hearing that we've got the most advanced finance system in the world, which is UPI, and there are about a dozen odd countries that want to borrow their technology from us. I mean, how amazing it is that you really don't need to carry any money or credit cards. Your phone is what it is. I don't know how many developed countries have that kind of technology. The geopolitical environment that we all have, we've been hearing various things. I don't think so. India's really has been too affected by that. So I think the India opportunity is right there. It's a writing on the wall for everyone. As a prime minister calls it, Amrit Kal, I think that's what he terms it.
Yeah.
That is so. It is really the time for us now. It is up to us. How much can we make use of that opportunity, and everything that we do, whether it is upskilling our people, whether it is providing offerings and solutions in the market for the corporate sector, for the government sector, and for the third sector, which is what we call the social sector.
Yeah.
For all these three to grow, to support them in whichever way we can, or it is about leading with technology. um, as long as we keep doing that, I think the opportunity is really for us to creep. uh, can't stop that. It's there. From a firm perspective, I think our brand is also has given us that opportunity. The India story is true, or the Bharat story is true, and as long as we continue to working on the engines, I'm sure we'll fire someday, if not already.
Amazing. So if I'm a CA firm, okay, I have a team of say 50 folks. What would you advise me? Like, where should I focus? What sector? Would you want to? What would be your advice to me?
I think you need to know your market. I don't want to make it cliche that you should do this and you should do that, because there is no one size fits all. You know your capabilities and you know your clients. As long as that is aligned, I don't think so anything can stop you from growing. um, Problem happens when you want to run after an opportunity for which you don't have the capability, or you creating a capability which your clients don't need. So you're running to them with like a long menu that this is what I have, what is it that you want to buy. If you ask me, the best experience is walking into a restaurant and telling the chef this is what I want, rather than being restricted to a menu. So I think
Yeah.
we want to be the latter. We want to make sure that we make a solution for our clients rather than selling them a menu card which they can buy. Because the moment you're doing that, you're probably not differentiating yourself and will not give them a personalized experience. And I think that's my advice to all. Why just CA firms? I would just say any professional services firm. As long as you can know your client and you don't go to them with a menu, but to go to them with skills and capabilities and understanding, and listen to them on what they need, and make sure you bring them a concoction of all that you have
Yeah.
aligned with their needs. you- You've got the formula right.
Amazing, amazing. So basically, serving your clients has just been the mantra which has helped you guys grow. That's about it. As simple as it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Prashant, there are a lot of big firms that are hiring, aggressively hiring in India, like the big fours. It's a known fact. Everyone's going to double and triple their talent in the next few years. And everyone's, from what I see, looking at the same talent pool. Like, okay, so what's your take on this? You know, how do you address this? And what is your
I,
talent acquisition strategy,
I think
retention?
thankfully we are sitting in a country which has the largest talent pool in the world. We're also sitting in a country which probably has the largest opportunity in the world. There is room for everyone, big or small, I don't know, but there is actually room for everyone. So we would only like to compete with ourselves. Have we done better than what we did last time? Is really what we'd like to compare with. So yes, there will be a talent war. No, whether you want it or you don't want it, but as long as we meeting our requirements and we getting the best talent which is per us, does not mean that the best talent that is there. Because then again, if you're branding the talent, you're treating them like commodities. I
Yep.
think you need to understand the potential of every person and then make sure that there are opportunities at the firm that are created. So, but we've never had a problem with hiring talent, and I don't think so we will. Whether because of that we end up competing, I don't know. Somebody who wants to have an opportunity, I really respect their, that they should have choices and they should always, but then they should just choose what opportunity works best for them. And everybody can have different requirements. I think all the firms really pay the same kind of money. I think
Yep.
the firms have the same kind of clients. They probably have the same capabilities as well. So I'm not saying that we're better in capabilities than anybody else in the market, but I think it's really the experience that you have with an A firm or a B firm is really what makes the difference and keeps people engaged. And as long as people find that their purpose in us, we won't have a problem in hiring. And we won't like to be part of any talent war.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's well said. Okay. So could you highlight a little bit on as to what's your talent acquisition strategy? A little bit, like what
Yeah,
is yeah, GT? How do you plan your strategy to build on talent?
yeah. I
And your
think various initiatives. So as I mentioned that, one, um, the biggest talent that needs to come to the firm is really within the firm, because so we want to make sure that whoever is there with the firm, and I don't like to use the word that, to retain them,
yeah,
because that's like, you're trying to keep something from someone. So I'd like to use the word of, keeping them engaged.
yeah,
So as long as we very conscious that we provide a visibility and a career growth journey to whoever's working with us. We're very conscious that we need to provide upskilling opportunities to all our people and create opportunities for them to grow.
yeah,
Uh, we Yes, I understand that, business plans and personal plans are something, but that's what really needs to align with people's personal preferences and the firm's preferences, and we keep working on that. So our biggest talent pool really needs to come from within the firm, to make sure that, we have the lowest attrition rates and we keep our people keep growing within the firm. But yes, external talent will always be important, and we do various things around that. We have campus initiatives on that. It's very surprising that 75% of our external hires actually came from referrals from the firm. So our own people
amazing.
kept referring people to the firm. I think as long as we retain that kind of percentage, we don't need to, really go out in the market and shout out. But yes, we're conscious that we need to keep our brand active in the market, keep talking about what we are doing. So we'll keep doing that. We'll keep talking about, what the Grant Thornton experience is all about. We will keep working on making sure that our people um, get what they want in the firm and are engaged within the firm. If we just do these two things right, I'm sure our own people will be a magnet and attract the talent from outside. But
That's amazing.
yes, we still want to make sure that we don't leave any table unturned. So these campus initiatives and going to universities and boutiques where we can find specific talent, we keep doing that as well. Our people and culture team works extremely hard. If that wouldn't have happened, we wouldn't have added 5,000 people in the last 2 years.
Yep, that's amazing. 75% through referral is fantastic. And also, do you all have an alumni network?
Yes, we do. We do. Fortunately or unfortunately, that network is not too big because not too many people have left us.
Okay.
But yes, we do have an alumni network. I wouldn't say that, we've really focused on it, but yes, the
Okay.
focus has come now, and we really focus. In the middle of the pandemic, actually, we had our first alumni meet when
Okay.
we invited certain people who were not there with the firm again. But we're continuously working on upping our game on our alumni network. But yes, hopefully that number will never be too large.
Okay. That's amazing. I have four more questions for you, out of which two are on AI. Okay, so I watched a lot of these thought leadership on AI and how is AI going to impact companies, organizations. So I was watching, the executive chairman of Singularity, right, Peter. So he mentioned that now to create a $1 billion company, you will just need three people because everything else is going to be done by AI. And he was dead serious about it. So as a consulting firm, have you guys? I'm sure you guys would have thought about AI, its impact. So what's your view on it, and how do you see the future of consulting shaping up because of AI?
Uh, I think, firstly, anybody who believes that AI is something that is here today, gone tomorrow, probably needs a reality check. AI is here to stay. At the same time, do we need to fear AI? I don't think so. In the turn of the century, when we started having these search engines, we heard that, oh, a lot of research analysts will go lose their job. That didn't happen. If temporarily it may have, but what it really did was that it equipped those research analysts to become more productive and more effective in what they were doing. And I think AI will do exactly that to the world. A lot of what is happening, and I don't think so. We are an exception.
Yeah.
When I say we, I mean all of us. I don't think so.
Yeah.
We are an exception. For us today, whatever we're doing in AI is probably out of FOMO, the fear of missing out. But I also believe that nobody's got the secret success of how we make AI a
Yeah.
successful thing. But I think we need to embrace AI. We need to keep in mind that anything which is does not require empathy should be automated or AI driven. So that
Yes.
means that humans will never lose their focus. We will always need people. But
Yeah.
yes, technology is always to help us make more productive, more effective, and more economical. That's exactly what AI will do. As a firm, yes, AI is a very critical part of our strategy. We started doing things using AI, and we didn't think we need to shout out to the world that this is what we've done over about I think a year or so back. AI has just been very hot in the last couple of months, but over a year back, what we had something called My Mobius, which our IT and business support, digital business services team came up with, which meant that you could, it was a bot which you could ask a question, it would search the entire database of the firm and give you the answer rather than going through 50 pages of our internet site and seeing, oh, this is where people and culture is, this is where policy around work offices is, and this is what I can do. You can just ask a question and the bot will give it to you. So yeah, I mean, we've been using AI for at least the last 12 to 18 months. We need to see how we really use AI to make things more efficient, effective, and economical. So yeah, that's my view on AI.
Okay. Also, when you talk about AI, right? So AI is definitely going to make every single person's life easy, right? You have to learn to upskill and use it really well to your own benefit, right? So will this also reduce the time taken, say, by a person, in his growth journey in the firm? Like I've been doing a lot of reading which says you can become like a partner way quickly because of AI. It will reduce the time of career growth. What's your take on it?
May or may not be. I don't really have a crystal ball that I can look into and tell you that will it happen or not. But let me tell you something, that why it may happen is because today you've got 30 people doing a certain thing. With AI coming in, you probably need 10 people for that.
Yep.
I don't think so. That means that 20 people will lose the job. It just means that you've got 20 more people to do other things, and
Yep.
which means that the company or the firm can move forward on their strategy by doing more things in a shorter span of time, which would mean that what they had to achieve in 5 years, they'll probably achieve in 3 years, which means that there's an opportunity for all those 30 people to grow, but in different ways.
Yep.
Today, when we talk about AI, people losing their jobs, it's probably 30 people at analyst level moving to assistant manager, manager, so on and so forth. But AI will come in and 20 people are doing different things, 10 people are doing different things. Uh, Nothing stops all of them from becoming managers and directors and partners much sooner. So yeah, maybe in a way, I believe yes, AI will not help people lose their jobs, just probably help people achieve things quicker.
Yep. That's actually well said. And you guys have been a part of that journey and that evolution through the years. So I'm sure you all would have studied and researched this really well. Okay, now we're talking about chartered accountants, right? CAs. They form a very important part of the talent pool of consulting firms and large accounting firms. So now tech is not a very important part of the curriculum of what we do. So what's your take on it? So if I'm a CA today, right, what would you tell me? What am I supposed to do apart from knowing my audit, tax, law, everything in place? What should I do?
Well, curriculums, not just for chartered accountants, but I think curriculums always everywhere can be improved. When I was
Yeah.
doing my chartered accountancy, we did not have any part of tech. And a lot of people said, "Oh, when I used to speak to my international friends and colleagues, that
Yeah.
how to use the internet, how to send an email, that should be part of the curriculum."
Yeah.
We learned that
Okay.
because there was an organization which was conscious and there was skilling available. I think the same is with chartered accountants. So technology is an enabler. It's
Wow.
not something that is something that you teach now and it is will be good for the next 100 years of your life. That's not true.
Yep. Yep.
It's a learning and development has to be a constant. The CA curriculum cannot cover everything
Yep.
that will hold good for you for the rest of your life.
Yep.
It is only doing things which is relevant today. And if something is relevant today, but the curriculum is not equipped with it, I think that is the responsibility of the
India.
private sector to make sure
Yeah.
that they provide opportunities for upskilling of whatever a conventional course does not cover. So why just CA? I think anybody coming out of computer engineering or an architectural course or an HR course probably will also not have those things. But private sector really needs to take that responsibility to make sure that you are upskilling people because it will not just be required for people who are coming in, but for people
Yep.
who are actually more importantly staying with you. 5 years
Yep.
later, there may be a new technology. Are you making sure your people are upskilling on that?
Yep.
So I would really blame any educational institute on
Yep.
that. It is the responsibility of firms like ours to make
Yep.
sure that we have that upskilling initiative as a constant.
That's amazing. Okay, so there is the Big Four, there is GT, BDO, and there's a lot of other growing firms who are growing fantastically well. I know I did ask you this earlier, but any other, anything else would you want to add to them, and some insights if they're looking from you, and will the time to grow be reduced? Now it took you guys 20 years to reach here. Can that be 5 years for somebody else? You know, do you see that
Why
happening?
not? Why not? Absolutely, absolutely. I'm sure, and we'd like to learn from them because it's not that we came with an expiry date. We still have infinite number of years to grow. I would love to hear of an example where somebody's grown what we've done in 20 years, somebody's grown in 5 years. And again, I don't think so. It's about competition. I think all of us can learn so much from each other because as I said, there is an opportunity for everybody in the market. I would love that today there is a disruptor in the market that we can learn something from and become better. That's how the industry saw us. That's how we'd like to see others coming in. So, I know we all keep getting branded that we compete with each other, but I can tell you there is always merit in choices. As being responsible for operations at the firm, I want a choice of vendors. So what's wrong if my client wants a choice of vendors or business partners? So I think there's opportunity for everybody in the market, and everybody has their own play.
Yeah.
Some people like Indian, some people like Chinese, and some people like Japanese.
Yeah.
We all have a things to offer, and all find our purpose and peace in what we do. So yeah,
Yeah, and
competition's always makes the best of you.
yeah, and in the India that we are in today, there is growth, there is momentum. So you don't have to wait for 10, 20 years. You can really build in a solid firm quickly. Okay,
Yeah.
my last question for you is, as a senior leader at GT, okay, in this changing economy, changing world, everything is changing very dynamically. So what are the challenges you face, and what keeps you thinking? What are your challenges?
What are the challenges I face? I don't like the word challenges. I like the word, what are the three, four opportunities that I see regularly? That's
Okay.
how
Oh, okay.
I'd like to
Okay.
see things. Um,
Okay.
uh, I think, I mean, all you want to call it challenges, I want to call it opportunities, but everything is really around people. So we did things a certain way when we were 5,000 people. Today we're 10,000 people. We need to do things a different way. So the I wouldn't say the pressure, but the responsibility to keep reinventing yourself as a firm, as a set of people, and make sure that you are always in whatever you do, keeping the person at the center
Yep.
is something that I see as a huge opportunity for the firm today. And to give you an example, everybody was convinced that yes, work from home cannot be possible. The pandemic happened. Everybody thought, oh, work from home is probably the best thing that's happened because productivity is so high and everything. And yet, once the pandemic ended and 1 or 2 years after that, everybody started coming to work. I don't think so. I don't know whether what hybrid really means today,
Yeah.
what work from home is all about, or what we call work from anywhere really. So the cookie cutter approach, one size fits all, does not work. So what is that right mix? What are those four, five models to make sure that it fits all kinds of people? And somebody who wants to come into office 1 day a week, somebody who doesn't want to come to office at all, somebody wants to come to office every day of the week. So yeah, that's probably the biggest opportunity in terms of to how to make sure you keep people at the center and it's a place for everyone rather than fit them into bands and silos and everything.
Amazing.
And on the other side of things, the same for clients as well. How do you keep reinventing? How do you stay one step ahead of them in terms of they should not tell you this is my requirement. You should be able to preempt the requirement.
Yep.
And you can only make sure you do that if you keep two things in place. You have a rapport with your client, and two, you understand their threats, opportunities, what keeps them awake, what makes them smile, what makes them frown all the time. Um, yeah, so these three things.
Amazing. I have this last question which I have to ask you about your journey. Okay. When did you strategize your journey or it was in the flow, you just took things step by step? How was it? Like, because when you joined in 2002, I mean, India was, again, there was a lot of opportunities. Big Four were there. You could have aimed, hey, I want to be a partner of a Big Four, which was a big deal back then, right? But you joined a firm which was growing, a team of 50. How did you think about it?
So I know as much as you want to hear that there was a plan, I will say that no, there was no plan. I just made sure of one thing that, am I fit for purpose or not? And what is the difference that I'm making to the firm? As long as I was confident of all these two things, things kind of happen. And I'll tell you, my confidence in the firm was there in the first few months. When I joined the firm, there were opportunities with other firms as well, and I probably chose this firm at slightly lesser money than what the rest of the opportunities were there. But the gentleman who had hired me had mentioned that, we're just getting into this, we don't know how it will play out, and we want to make sure that we're paying you the right money. So we'll see. But yes, if we get where we want to, we'll make sure that we make it good. In 4 months, we realized that what we wanted, we getting that, and that gentleman reinstated my salary from what I had actually asked for, not from that month, but retrospective from the time I joined. I
Nice.
realized that this is a firm that really believes in the people and keeps its promises, and is transparent and keeps people at the center. And that's how I knew that this is the place for me. And that's why I think 20 years were probably a breeze. I want that kind of experience to be for every person who works at the firm. And I think the responsibility is not theirs. The responsibility is us as leaders, every partner in the firm as a leader, to make sure that that kind of experience is given to every person. I was my superiors were always there to guide me, Um, uh, and they weren't just there clapping for me when I achieved things, but were there to support me when I didn't achieve things.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what a partnership is all about. A professional services firm is all about.
Yeah.
So yeah, those there wasn't really a formula, but they were just it was just the culture, which kept us achieve what we wanted to,
Wow. So
and me
you,
personally achieve what I
yeah.
wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah, so your journey actually represents GT, right? I mean, that's the culture that you've gone from starting out to 20 years later. So, Prashant, thank you so much for answering every single question with so much of honesty. We'll make an article out of it. We'll email it to our readers,
Yeah.
and I'll put it on social. Thanks a ton, means a lot. And everyone who's joined in, thank you so much. You can always connect with Prashant over LinkedIn, and we'll email you the conversation in case you missed it. So yeah, thanks a ton. Thanks a ton, Prashant.
Thank you, Chantal, for having me and so patiently listening to me. I think we went beyond time, but
Thank you.
thank you for this
Thank you.
opportunity, and thank you for everyone who's listening or will hear this. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Prashant. Take care. Have a great day. Thanks for the time. See you. Bye. Thank you.